everybody, and welcome to the Lamenters Season 2. We've gotten through all the character creation stuff, and now we're ready to play the game. So we are going to dive right in. You all awaken. You find yourselves on a rocky, rather barren plateau. And as you're looking up, it seems to be maybe midday. The sun seems to be kind of overhead, but there's a lot of cloud cover. And it is very cold. There's a brisk wind kind of blowing through the area. As you kind of look around to orientate yourselves, you see that there are mountains all around you, and that you are kind of on a plateau at sort of a mid-range. So there are mountains like above, and then it looks like there's maybe about 60 feet away from where you kind of all wake up, you see sort of a drop-off down to lower elevations. And each one of you, as you wake up, you look around and see other people. Other people who you do not recognize.
What would be last thing we remember? Like going to sleep somewhere where we go?
You know what? That is a great question. That is a superb question. What is the last thing that you remember? Well, Leonard Coy, you remember, as you're trying to think of like, where am I and how did I get here? You have this flash, this momentary kind of flash in your mind of traveling with a group of people at nighttime and ascending this mountain rocky trail, heading up to a higher elevation. And it's very dark. There's some torches in this group that you're traveling with, but it's just these hazy flashes of memory. Nighttime and a flash in the sky like lightning, and the feeling of cold rain kind of blowing down on you, and then that memory goes away.
Okay, so I don't retain it, or?
You remember that. You remember that which I just told you. Now, the other thing that all of you remember is you remember who you are. You remember where you came from. You remember your childhood and early adulthood. You just don't remember how you got here, and you don't know any of these people. So, who would like to go first?
All right. I'm thinking to myself, this is not the inn. I'm just thinking this, and I'm looking around, and I quickly check my belongings.
Everything that you have on you seems familiar to you. Your things are with you.
Yeah, and I'll just sit up and look around.
Okay. Describe what your character looks like.
Let's see. He is a rather short, light frame, medium complexion, black hair, green eyes, fairly average looks, nothing special. Just really pretty normal, although she does seem to have an alertness about her that some of you may recognize as military preparedness.
How old does your character appear to be?
In her 20s.
Okay.
Female.
Okay.
Human.
Let's go around and describe each one of you so that as the others are looking at the people who are all kind of rousing at the same time, who do they see? So let's start with Claude.
Yeah. As I'm looking around with my guard dog Critter, check to see if he's here. I'm a former canine guard at Lake Castle.
No. You're not introducing yourself. Just describe what people see physically.
Okay. Male, 26. You see me with my chainmail armor, great longsword with me, and my traveling companion, my guard dog Critter.
Critter is not there currently.
Oh, where did he go?
Okay. Let's see what Liber looks like.
Okay, so Liber, I am medium tan flesh tone, got a darker brown hair, hazelish eyes, a little above average height, nothing unusual. Average build, probably on the younger side, low to mid 20s.
And what does Leonard look like?
Okay, so you see a young, lengthy guy with blonde hair and a light skin. He doesn't look very strong and just looking around, a little bit scared about the place he is in. And
how old does he appear to be?
Around 17, 18.
Okay, so fairly young. And what does Bane look like?
Bane is a large male, about 40 years old, wearing chainmail and tattered rags, long, not curly, but wavy black hair that's drenched by the rain and dirt and whatever I've been rolling around in. About 6'3", 250, 280 pounds, somewhere in there. Really large, imposing figure.
And what does Bivoj look like?
He's in his mid-30s. Tall guy with chestnut hair, fair skin. He doesn't seem to be very physically strong, but he may surprise.
Okay, so all of you kind of looking around in this dirt and rocky, barren sort of mountainous plateau terrain see each other. No one has yet spoken up. But you see that one of those people is looking around the plateau, and you hear him mutter, "Where did he go now?" Claude, that's you.
All right. Has anyone? Hi. Where are we? And has anyone seen my dog, Critter? Critter, where are you?
You hear him call out.
They don't allow dogs in the inn I stay in.
Oh,
In? I don't. How do we even get here? And who are you guys? I'm Claude, by the way.
I'm sorry, Bill, is it just us that we see, or is there anyone that we see that's not here in this group?
That's
right
it.
now?
There is no sign of life. You are on a rocky, barren plateau in a mountain range, and there's also no camp. There's no campfire. Like, you have bedrolls with you if you have them on your character sheet, but you're not waking up in a bedroll. You're waking up literally on the ground.
I'm gonna grab the closest male to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you've got us laid out, and grab him in a threatening way. Where am I? What have you done?
Ooh, you know what? That's. I'm gonna make a roll to see who's the randomly person.
Well, it can't be me.
That would be the youngest looking young man, Leonard Coy. You grab this young looking boy and you grab him and kind of shake him.
come on, Not necessary. I don't know where we are either. So calm down a little bit.
I don't remember anything. I remember having a drink, or 2 or 3, and then waking up here.
I just remember a storm or something and waking up here, but before that, I don't even remember how I got into the storm.
I'm going to stand up and walk over to these two gentlemen and gently place a hand on the big guy's hand holding this guy and says, look, this isn't necessary. We're all confused. I was in an inn. I was looking forward to the wonderful sausage and eggs and toast that the hostess was going to prepare in the morning.
I put him down.
Thank you. I am Sarah Florian Marjit.
I'm Bane.
I see. And you, young man?
Hello, I'm Leonard, and it's a big guy there.
It's okay.
So,
Take a deep breath.
anyone
And-
recognizes this mountain range?
I've never
Do I
seen
recognize the
signs.
mountain range? I've traveled around a bit.
You have a momentary flash. It's actually a series of memories of expeditions, escorting caravans. You remember that mountains are typically not very safe.
Well, in any case, wherever we aren't safe. You three? I point to Liber and Bivoj and Claude.
Would this help? And I pull the map from my sack.
Okay, you do. You pull out a map. And
Is there anybody that could read this?
Oh, I got one of those, I think. I'll pull out mine, compare them.
so anyone who doesn't have an intelligence penalty can read. Anyone can look at the map, but the actual words on the map, you can only read if you're literate. So those of you with sad intelligences can speak the common tongue of the lands of Doreguteon, but you're illiterate. Liber, what is your reaction to this?
I'm confused, but I was trying to listen to hear what's going on first, and I asked, did anyone know anything? Have any idea where we are?
Well, I know that mountains are dangerous, so we should be on our guard, and I'll grab my bow and look around.
None of you recognize this specific place.
Does any of the maps contain a mountain range? Or...
Oh yes, there's a lot of mountains. There are mountains all over the continent. Where you are specifically, hard to tell.
If I look
Is there
around,
any
can I
clear
see any tracks leading in or out?
That is a great question. You don't see any tracks other than the ones that are immediately around you guys from just sitting up. You don't see any other tracks. Anybody else looking for tracks or searching the area?
I'm looking at the sky and the trees, if there are any, the high spots.
There are no trees. There are mountains that are much higher than where you are right now, and you feel like you're at a kind of a mid-range altitude. You don't know how far up in this mountain range you are. There is, like I said, a kind of edge to this plateau about 60 feet away if you wanted to walk over there and kind of look down and see, kind of try to get your bearings. Claude, are you still calling out for Critter?
Yeah. And by direction of the other guys, I don't think anyone sees them.
You hear a sound. You hear barking, but it seems to be coming from kind of like by that edge.
I'm gonna run over.
Okay.
And see if I can spot him.
You run over, you look down, and you see there's about a 20-foot sheer drop-off to kind of another lower ledge, and this ledge is only like 20 feet wide. But you see, as you look down, you see Critter, and Critter's looking up at you and barking.
Okay. Does it look there's any handholds to be able to climb down?
Nope.
Any place to attach a rope?
If you have a grappling hook, you feel like you could anchor it into some of the heavier rocks and maybe climb down that way.
Yeah, I can. But I want to grab one of the guys and to help support the rope. So, hey,
Okay.
fellas, can anyone help me out here?
I'll help.
I'll help.
All right.
Yeah.
So as all of you kind of make your way over, you're standing at the edge. You see now that there's a drop off, but then looking down, you see that you're probably several hundred feet up in this mountain range. All across this small valley are other mountains kind of going up, but as far as your eyes can see, you see that you are in a mountain range. You do
Boy, who has rope?
signs. You don't
I
see
have.
signs of habitation either.
I've got some.
I've got some rope. Let's
Yeah.
put a polymer knot on this rope and extend it down.
You can assist with the grappling hook, and I'm gonna climb down and take my bedroll.
And
And
you
kind
are.
Hmm?
You are.
Claude,
Okay, and
and
that's.
it's my dog Critter down there.
Okay.
Claude, how long is the rope on your grappling hook?
50. Plenty long enough.
He's within 50?
Yeah,
20
about
feet
20
down.
feet down.
All right,
So-
no rope required.
Well, I'm not gonna jump that far.
No, we will hold it, and you'll
Yeah.
traverse the mountainside.
Okay, so I'm gonna climb down and calm Critter down. And then I'm gonna take my bedroll and wrap Critter up in it, tie the rope to the bedroll. It's a kind of a sack under his belly.
So you're going to climb down to where he is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get down there. Critter is spinning around in circles. He kind of jumps on you in excitement. But in all
down, boy.
ways, he seems to be okay.
Calm down, calm down. We're gonna get you up. And like I said, I'm gonna put him in the bedroll, tie the rope to the bedroll, and then I'm gonna climb up first. And then together we're just gonna pull up the rope with Critter on the end.
Before
Okay.
you come up, can you take a look to see if there's anything down there?
Yeah, I'm looking around too.
All right, it seems like this ledge that the dog was on goes sort of around the mountain in both directions, to the left and to the right. Again, it's hard to tell to get your bearings. The sun seems to be kind of directly overhead, but there's so much cloud cover that it's hard to know north, south, or the directions. But it looks like this lower elevation seems to lead in both left and right around this particular mountain plateau that you're on.
Okay.
Why don't we all go down there? And it seems like there's a path down there.
Suppose we could do a quick run one way and maybe the other one.
Okay, so you're not bringing the dog down and you're staying down there?
Yeah, as the guys suggest. Right, I'm gonna have a quick look, and with the wall behind me, I'm gonna go right.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing while he's walking?
Well, I'm going to run back and pick up as many packs as I can. And
I'm assuming everyone has their stuff, right? Nobody left their stuff where you woke up.
I didn't say I picked it up, but I'm going to go back and get it.
Okay.
Get mine at least, yeah.
All right. So, Claude, you walk for how long? 5-10 minutes, or for,
No,
you know,
just 2-3 minute jog.
okay. You jog. This seems like a naturally formed sort of cliff ledge. You see as you go around the corner, it looks like it continues for quite a ways.
Is there any pitch to it going up or down?
There really isn't much of a pitch within a few hundred meters.
Okay. So after 2-3 minutes of jogging, I turn around,
Okay.
go back, report,
All right.
and jump on.
The rest of you looking down, what do you want to do?
I would like to take my spyglass and look around to the distance if I locate any like landmark or something.
Okay. You don't see anything. You don't see any animals. You don't see any people.
I'll try my luck as well with my spyglass.
Same thing.
Yeah.
All right, Liber, what are you doing?
I'm looking around to see if there's any obvious place to go from where we are without climbing down first.
Okay, so you want to kind of run the plateau?
Yeah.
All right. You run off to kind of scope that out. Bane, what are you doing?
Am I still holding the grappling hook, or is that all done?
Oh yeah, sorry, you're kind of anchoring. Bivoj, what are you doing?
If we don't know where the north is, where the south is, where whatever it is, I try to pick my 2 arrows and just put them into the ground like a foot apart. I will scratch where the shadows landed, and then I will wait.
You really don't have any shadows. It is very, very overcast.
Yeah, I know that trick. It's not going to work today, unfortunately.
That's bad.
Yeah.
My dad never told me what to do when it's overcast. I know this one trick, but
Yeah.
And what is Leonard doing?
Well, after my unsuccessful attempt with spyglass, I turn around and is that we are stranded on the plateau then? Like there is.
Well, you could run off and kind of explore the plateau a little more like Liber.
I maybe try to explore like how far is the wall in the back where the mountain continues?
So the next patch of mountains is about 300 meters away.
Okay.
You turn your spyglass in that direction because you kind of see Liber running off. And you see that it looks like where the plateau meets the next big wall of mountain, it looks like there might be some sort of small cave.
Okay.
You see Liber running off in that direction.
I look around and probably turn to who would be closest to me. That would be
all the rest of the group, like Sarah, Bivoj, Bane. They're all kind of by the rope. Claude is still down, like running down the.
So I turn to them and say, "There seems to be a small cave that way. Maybe it leads somewhere. Do you think it's wise to explore it, or do you think we should just find if there is any road to this plateau?"
Do we have any other option? Like, I don't think so.
Well, we still have to wait on him with his dog, and then
If those clouds become darker, we have nowhere to hide up here. We should at least explore the cave a little bit so we can have some shelter in case of rain.
Agree. We're sitting ducks here.
Yeah, I would recommend that we stay together and seek out shelter. She's looking up at the clouds and all around and trying to gauge the weather like a professional archer has to do.
You see that there are dark clouds in the kind of near distance.
Yep. I think there's a storm coming. Let's who has the loudest voice that can shout down there to Claude and Critter?
While you're 20 feet away, Claude returns from his jaunt down the path, and he tells you that it looks like it just continues. Smash cut to Liber. Liber, you run over by this rock face, and you see that it ascends hundreds of feet, right? Like this plateau is connected to a much bigger mountain. And as you kind of run over there, you see that there is a cave. Looks like it's naturally formed. And it's dark, obviously. You could see about 10 feet into the cave from ambient light. The opening itself is about 8 feet wide and about 12 feet tall. But it seems like it narrows as it goes inward.
Is there any markings or anything around the cave?
Yes. You look down and you see what looks like tracks in the dirt and the rocks that are fairly large, and they look like paw marks. Like you see tracks that look like about the size of a bear's paw, and you see that they are in sets of 4, like a quadruped. They seem to go away from the cave and kind of away from the cliff edge where your friends are, in the other direction around the plateau.
Do I see any other traces of the animal if I look around?
Do you go in the cave, or are you just staying outside of the cave?
I'm gonna stay outside.
You don't see any other traces of the animal. Like you don't see any fur or other kind of evidence.
I'm gonna go back to the group, just let them know what I found.
Okay.
Well, if it is a large animal, it's like a challenge for a skilled hunter. Let's get to explore that.
Well, let's get Claude and Critter up here first.
Okay, so Claude, you tie the rope around Critter in a sort of a hard, yeah, and Bane, presumably, so you start to work together to pull up this animal. I'm trying to see who has decent strength that would help you with that. It doesn't seem like you need help. So you notice that the very large man begins to hoist up the 40-pound dog relatively easily and gets him to the top, unties him, lowers the rope back down to Claude. Claude, you climb up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You get
Put
up.
my hand out to the dog.
Okay. The dog kind of sniffs you, but not much more of a reaction. Not the excitement that he epitomized when he saw Claude. You get back up to the top, Claude. You wrap up your rope and your hook, sling it.
The blanket.
Liber returns and tells you guys that he's found a cave and some tracks.
Oh. I hope that if that's as big as you say, that it's not too close around.
I'm not sure. I couldn't see where it had gone for sure. I did see footprints walking away. And at this point, I'm going to take out my short bow just in case it decides to come this way.
Okay. All right. Yeah, those of you with spyglasses, you search the plateau. You don't see any creatures on the plateau, but you do see that, like, across from where you are, it looks like there's another drop off that maybe goes to another valley or chasm.
Well, I do see dark clouds up above, so I think we should head to the cave just to be safe.
Well,
it's some kind of shelter. We might be able to find other shelter around there.
I hope it
Yeah.
will return when we are in its home.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's make...
I think the cave would be best, because down below that path just didn't go anywhere that I could see in the few minutes I traversed it. So probably the cave be best.
If it was a bear's home, we can make it our own for the time being. If the downpour comes, we are screwed in the open. Like, we have no chance.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ever-
Is our best bet.
Every
Yeah,
shelter is better than none.
Yeah, and I would recommend we stick together.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to take a peek over that other side of the cliff before we go into the cave?
well, I think that little peak wouldn't hurt.
I mean, we should be checking everything out on the way from here to the cave, just to make sure that there's no other places we can go.
So let's go peek.
Okay, so you guys kind of start moving across the plateau, and like I said, about 300 meters, you find yourself at another drop-off. This drop-off seems to be less sheer. In other words, it's actually climbable. It looks like it kind of goes down at about like a 45-degree angle, and it goes down about 60 feet at that angle to another kind of flat ledge that's fairly wide, and that seems to go in both directions. You see a valley similar to the what you saw on the other side, that descends.
What kind of angle is that at?
45.
45.
This goes at like a 45. Yeah, so it's pretty easily climbable.
Think we should check out the cave and then traverse to the cavern below.
That
I
might
agree.
that might be the best option, because we can always return to this side
Mm-hmm.
after the clouds disappear.
Well, if
Well,
there will be downpour, as Lady says, then it might be hard to climb down.
yeah, but we have weighed our options now, and if the rain catches us
Sarah,
mid-descent, we're screwed.
those dark clouds are now kind of overhead, and you guys start to feel some rain drops, and you see rain dropping above you and on the plateau.
I'll pick up my pace.
We know that we have structure with the cave. What we do not know is what lies below in the cavern. So, if we traverse down there and get caught in the rain, we could really be screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yep, I pick
Let's
up
head
the-
into the cave.
By the way, does anyone have any water? Or
Yeah.
food?
Oh. No, I don't have water. I don't have food. I have a water skin, but I was staying in an inn.
I have some rations.
Okay, you guys start quickly heading over towards the cave, and as you are, the rain starts coming down, and it's coming down in sheets. Like, visibility is reduced. It's darker. The rain is just pouring down. And you see a flash in the sky when you're about 30 feet away from the cave. You see a flash in the sky not far from where you are. And then you hear the thunder moments later, and you guys run into the cave just as the rain starts pouring down.
I'm gonna grab my cooking pots and put them outside to catch the water.
Okay.
Going to light a torch.
Okay. You are all within the first 10 feet of the cave, and it's kind of crowded. It's only about 8 feet wide. Bane, you kind of kneel down, you pull out a torch from your bag, get your tinderbox out, and you start to light it. It's the oil is soaked in, so it lights up pretty quickly. And as your torch comes to life, it illuminates this cave, which goes in for about 30 more feet, and then it seems to open up into kind of a larger cavern. You can't really, from your torchlight, see the interior part of that cavern, but you can see the cave that leads to it. And as you guys are kind of in there, the rain pouring outside, the wind whistling outside, you notice that there is a pungent smell. It's like the smell of animal, like a musk combined
I
with
know this smell.
with feces.
Rotting. Is it rotting corpse of animal? I know this smell.
It's a strong animal musk with animal droppings kind of smell.
So it's living.
You also notice as you're kind of standing there, you look down, you see the same big tracks that Liber noticed before.
I put my
Battle
hand
axe
down. How big are
Battle
they?
axe in hand.
Each of the paw prints, so you got to go down to scale this, right? Each of the paw prints is double the size of your hand. But more importantly, perhaps, is it looks like these paw prints have come and gone several times.
How far back do they go?
They go as far as the torch reveals. Does anyone else, let's see, Bivoj, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just weighing my options, and I turn to Bane and, big guy, do you want to go inside? I will cover you. We have to go either way.
I will search deeper.
All right, Leonard, what are you doing?
I'm listening to the conversation and see the animal, and I don't like it, so I pull out my crossbow and load it and wait till I see anything. Don't say anything. Just observe from. I will try to hold behind a little bit.
Okay, Claude, you're setting out just at the entrance to the cave. You get your cooking pots out. You set your pots out, and the rain starts filling them. Liber, what are you doing?
I still have my bow out. I'm keeping it aimed towards the front of the cave in case the animal returns.
Okay, so you're kind of at the front of the cave with Claude, Leonard, Sarah, Bivoj, and Bane are kind of another 10 feet in from the front of the cave.
I want to look back and ask those three guys, can you take care of the entrance?
No problem.
Okay.
You got this.
I'll head forward with Bane and Bivoj.
All right, so the width of this kind of part of the cave is only 8 feet, so you can go 2 by 2. So I know that Bane is up front, and then Liber, are you side by side with Bane?
I was staying with the front.
Okay. My bad, you're at the front. So then Bivoj, Leonard, and Sarah, who is standing with Bane, and then who's in the second pairing?
I'm in the second.
I'll be in the first row, having my spear prepared to quick throw in one hand, and my longbow just to be ready in the other.
Okay. And then Leonard and Sarah, you're behind them, right?
Definitely. If there is
I thought Bane was in front.
Bane is in the front because he is the
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so you guys kind of move in. Bane, what's your approach? How are you moving in?
I'm moving in cautiously, not too crazily, just searching a little bit at a time. As I step forward, the torch engages into a deeper portion of the cave, and I set my eyes upon that and see if I see anything, any tracks, any scuffles, any movement in the darkness.
Okay. I'm gonna say let's make a search roll. You see the same kind of tracks. You don't see anything particularly special as you're walking through. The smell is definitely, you're moving towards the source of the smell. And as you kind of go through, you get about 30 feet in, and then this sort of fissure opens up into a larger cavern. The larger cavern is kind of roughly round in shape, and it seems to have a diameter of about 30 feet around, and the ceiling kind of opens up in the middle to about a height of 12 feet. All over kind of the immediate floor, you see these patches of fur, like shedded fur. And it's very gray and mottled looking, but you notice that like the patches of fur, the majority of the fur is gray, but it has like kind of white tips.
Do I recognize this as wolf fur?
Time for a memory check. You don't recognize this fur at all. Across from like where you enter this cavern, you see kind of a matted area of the dirt that has a bunch of bones and skin. And when I say skin, not like, somebody went hunting and they skinned an animal and laid it out like a blanket. This is literal chunks of like skin and meat and bones that have just been kind of discarded. You also see some piles of feces.
Can I tell what the average size of this thing's prey is? What type of bones we're looking at?
Yeah. I mean, you walk over there and it looks like you got some goat, maybe some mountain goat. You see that the size of the prey seems to be a mix of like small to medium-sized creatures. You do find something. Actually, who else is there? Liber's there. Leonard, Sarah's there. Okay. Okay. As you guys are kind of looking at this, Bivoj, you notice something. Amidst the pile of discarded bones and skin and meat, you see a skull. And it's not an animal skull. It's a human skull. And it looks like it's been there for a long time. And near it, you see some other bones that look kind of like human bones, like a couple rib bones and some femurs and
like not from one person, but
no, you're not sure. I mean, it definitely looks like at least one human body, but it also doesn't look as fresh as the animal bones.
I just poke it with the spear, and I say to the group, well, this fellow seems to be alone. We are not. We should take some advice from this one.
I'm specifically looking for signs of young ones.
Okay.
Are there any cubs in here or juveniles?
You don't see any. You don't really see any sign of any more than one creature. Like all of the tracks, the paws, seem consistently like the same size.
Good. Okay.
Smash cut back to the front. The rain is pouring down. Your cooking pots are full of water, like within a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Critter just seems to be sitting calmly, like looking at you as you guys are kind of guarding the front.
Yeah. Did anyone leave their water skins behind to fill up?
I did.
And I'm
Mine's there
gonna
as well.
grab some of those water skins and fill them up with the pots.
Okay, you do. You're very, very quickly able to empty several pots into people's water skins and then refill the pots. It is cold. The wind is blowing. The rain is coming down. It is probably... I forget sometimes that I can't just do my simple American ways. It is...
How does it feel on their faces?
It is 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius. It's cold. And unless you have winter clothing on your character sheet, you are cold.
No, I just got my traveling clothes in my bedroll, so...
Okay.
Let's
Perfectly warm.
now
Yep,
the water
so
skins are
focus
filled.
on
Let's
my
step
winter
back a little bit
clothes.
and wait for the others to return.
All right. So Liber, you're doing what again?
And we're just take a couple more feet into the cave, so we're not quite as exposed, and wait for the others to return. Still guarding the front cave.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Other people at the front. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my bedroll and wrap myself up in it.
Okay.
And Critter's probably doing fine and drinking his water bowl.
Okay. And then how about smash cut back into the cavern? What are the rest of you guys doing? Are you searching the rest of the cavern, or are you still kind of by the bones and the poop?
Well, I wanna pick up some of that fur and see how dry it is. Maybe we can use it to start a fire.
You find a mix. You find some stuff that looks like it's fresher, like from within the last few days, and then you find some stuff that looks old. The human bones are definitely old, like very dry. The other animal bones and fur, you do find some. You find like a decent sized clump that's pretty dry.
Okay, I'll take a goat femur and some of the driest fur I can find, and I'm gonna tell these guys, well, I'm done here. I'll head to the front and see if I can start a fire.
Yeah, there's also clumps of the animal's fur.
Yeah, that too.
That is that up for tinder to kind of get a fire going.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm gonna head to the front and see if we can make a fire. It's kind of cold in here.
Okay.
I say to Sir, please send Claude and his critter down so I can speak with him.
Please, what?
Send Claude and his critter down from the
okay.
mouth of the cave so I can
Sure.
speak with him.
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm heading out.
All right. You walk up there, just as Claude and Liber are kind of filling water skins, and you walk up.
Yeah, Bane wants to talk to you and your dog, Critter. I mean, you and your dog, Claude. I'm gonna make a fire. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, if you can manage to find something that burns.
Oh yeah. Show him the clump of fur I got.
Oh, nice.
Okay, for you to make an effective fire that isn't going to get sprayed from, bouncing rain, you kind of have to go about 10 feet in from the mouth of the cave. So
Yeah.
you're working on that fire.
Yeah, the usual, find some stones to make a ring and keep it safe and stuff like that.
All right, so you start working on that. Claude, you and Critter start walking to the back of the cave.
Yep.
What is Leonard doing? What are you doing, Leonard?
So as we got to the mountain of something, I will pick my crossbow bolt and try to pick for the other human remains than the bones. I mean, some equipment or something if it was left in the pile.
As you are looking through, you indeed find it looks like sort of buried under other refuse, as if the human was prey from a long time ago, and more bones and other skin and discarded chunks of meat were thrown atop it. But you're kind of digging through. You find what looks like a torn set of clothing, and it's blood stained, like a shirt, like a shirt. You find kind of a leather vest with little chunks of like fur on it, almost like winter clothing. And you find some pants that are torn. You find like half of a boot, leather boot, and you find like a couple sacks that are very torn and old and kind of rotten.
Any content of these sacks or just empty?
You start going through it. You dump out one of them. It's just rotten food, like dried, desiccated food. Looks like maybe it was at one time might have been like a dried rations. Another one of the sacks, you dump that out, and it has a length of rope, and it has a map. And the third sack has some coins, and it has a strange metallic disc that's a few inches around, and it has some markings on it that you're not familiar with.
Does the pocket disc look pricey?
Say that again?
If it looks pricey or expensive.
The metal disc is very plain looking. It looks like a very large coin almost, because it's flat on both sides, but it has some symbols stamped into it on both sides. The coins that you find about 30 coins, silver coins, and those are actually minted with something that you do recognize.
Okay.
Your coins are minted with the symbol of Avendia, the kingdom of Avendia.
Okay, so I'm.
No, is one of the Western kingdoms.
Yeah, and so I'm turn out to Bivoj. Can you come closer with that torch, and I try to read the map.
Okay. You unfurl this very tattered map. It's cracked in multiple places, and you're looking at it, and it looks like a map similar to the one that Bivoj pulled out, but it just looks very aged, as if it's been here for a really long time.
Okay. And then I pick up a disc and show it to what's the name, Bane, and say, does it tell you anything?
All right, Bane, you're holding the torch up, and you see that Leonard brings over this metallic disc. It looks like a very dull kind of gray, and as you approach with your torchlight, there's a faint reflection of like green, almost like a patina that you would have with like aged copper, but otherwise it's a very dull, it doesn't look silver, it doesn't look polished, it's like a very dull metallic gray. And there's some kind of writing stamped into it.
Do I recognize the writing at all? As far as the language or the symbolism?
You do not.
as Bane and Leonard contemplating about the disc, I just start picking the dry remains of the human and the remains of the clothing and those sacks, rations, whatever might be burning, and I bring it to Sarah, to the fire.
Okay.
He don't need it, guys. Let's be honest. We need more. We need the warmth much more than this guy.
Leonard,
Yep.
as you're looking at this disc, you have this weird flash. It's another flash of a memory. And in that flash, you have this memory where you're standing at a table, a large, like, rectangular table, and there's a bunch of people around, like a dozen people kind of standing around this table. Now, in your peripheral vision, you see these people, but you don't see their specific features. And you see, as you're looking through your own eyes from this memory, you see at this table that there is a parchment laid out. And the parchment has writing. You don't know what the parchment says, but you recognize the writing and like the style and the fonts of that writing. And that writing that you see in this flashback, in this memory, matches the same kind of writing that you see embossed on this disc.
Does the memory feel like it's mine?
Yes. You remember this for a moment. What's confusing is that you don't remember the context. You don't remember where this was, when this was, who was there. But you have this flashback where you're looking through your own eyes, you're in some kind of room, you're around a table with a lot of other people looking at this parchment on the table.
Okay. So I would say I'll go like for a few seconds cross-eyed and then just...
Not even seconds. This is like a half a second. You just have this flash, this memory.
Okay. And turn around. Are we sure we weren't hired together to do something?
Not sure of anything.
When he says that, let me see. So who is there? Liber, Sarah, and Bivoj are all at the front of the cave. Claude, you just arrived with Critter. So I'm going to make a roll for Claude and for Bane. Here's Claude's roll. That's a 6. Here's Bane's roll, a 2. As Leonard says this question, are you sure that we weren't all hired together to do something? Each of you has this strange moment, this flashback. Claude, you have this moment where you see yourself. You see yourself in a church, like in a large kind of old cathedral, and you are standing with a group of a couple dozen people, and you're listening to some kind of priest, and you could see the priest. You can't see the exact features of the priest, but you see this priest wearing these ornate robes, purple robes with like silver lining along the trim. And the priest is like giving this huge epic speech, and you can't really hear the words, but you kind of see yourself in the crowd of people listening to this priest making this speech. And that's your flashback. Bane, you have a flashback. You have a flashback that it's very hazy, but you are sitting in a dark inn. And you're sitting at a table in the corner by yourself. You've just finished a meal, and you've had 6 tankards of ale. And you see a hand like you're kind of looking down, already hammered. You see a hand reach out with a rolled up scroll, like kind of in your field of vision, to set the scroll in front of you. The scroll is rolled up, but you see a wax seal. But in your flashback, you can't see what the seal looks like. But it's sealed with wax. And the hand that's setting it in front of you has an ornate golden ring. And that's your flashback.
Any jewels or anything in the ring that I recognize, or a crest or a family signet?
As the hand's handing you the rolled up scroll, it's turned in such a way where you don't really see the ring. Like you see the hand wearing a ring, but you don't see the ring itself. You don't see like the front of it, the top of it.
Do I know in this quick flash if it's a female, male, old, young hand?
It looks like an older male hand. That's a great question.
Do I recognize the cathedral?
You're in the inside of the cathedral in your flashback, and you don't recognize it.
Okay.
As you were pondering this, though, tell me where Claude is from in the lands of Doreguteon. Where is he from?
He's from the Lee Castle area.
Okay,
He's
so
been,
he's from Lee Castle. So it does not look anything like the chapel in Lee Castle.
okay.
It looks way bigger, like a cathedral.
Yeah.
It doesn't look
Somewhere,
like any
somewhere
church.
along my wanderings.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any church or chapel in Lee County.
Okay. Well, I have no idea if we've been hired to do anything here. I have no idea how we even got here. So I'm drawing a blank. I have no idea what we're doing here. But
I asked Claude and Critter to come join me so I could see if Critter has a reaction inside the cave. I want to know if he's fearful, if he senses the presence of another creature.
Indeed, Critter does. Critter, as you approached, Critter kind of went on guard and was like looking around and ran over towards the pile of refuse and was kind of sniffing around, and you hear him growl a couple times. You see Critter then run over to the opposite side of the cave from where that pile of refuse was. And you hear him growl again, and he barks twice, which you, Claude, you know that's like he's found something.
yeah. Bane, follow me. I think Critter's got some, and just running over.
I go with him.
Okay. As you guys approach, Critter's just like on guard, growling. And you see, as you get closer with the torch, at this end of the cave, you see another pile of bones and human corpses and remains. And you notice that like they still have tattered and torn and bloody clothing on them. And it looks like probably 3 or 4 different corpses. Most of which have been mauled, like just completely torn apart, huge chunks, like all the meat basically ripped off. But these look like more recent kills.
Looks like we're the replacement party.
I have no idea what's going on, but it does feel like we're sent here for something. And it's not making me happy.
Let's search through the corpse remains and see if there's any identifying clothing or scrolls, anything attached to I don't know what's left, but what's left of them, see if there's anything with it.
Okay, as you search through these remains, as I said, all of them seemed to have been clothed, and whatever mauled them didn't seem to care about the clothing, just ripped them apart. None of the clothing is salvageable, but it is dry cloth if you wanted to use it to feed the fire.
Can I tell? Can I tell based on the style of clothing if it belonged to explorers, if it belonged to whatever?
Yes. In some part, you can tell none of them had armor, and all of the clothing seems to be very sturdy, kind of like heavier wool. Not quite like winter clothing where it's lined, but like heavier kind of wool, multiple layers. Very common looking clothing, like commoner clothing. And you don't see any supplies. You don't see any belts, pouches, weapons, armor, that kind of stuff.
Oh, well, these don't look like any kind of fighter, or more like peasants. So if they were sent here to do something, would be odd. And with us, you look like a good strong fighter. I'm a fighter. The other guys look capable. These fellows down here don't.
What if the creature is snatching them from a local village and bringing them back to his cave?
Yeah, but then still, how did we get here not knowing anything about how we got here?
Perhaps we find the creature and find what's behind this. Or we kill it and take it back down the hill.
Yeah.
Back to the front of the cave. The rain continues to pour. You see lightning flashing in the sky. You hear the thunder rolling through. Liber, as the storm is outside, while Sarah is kind of building this fire and getting it going, you're sort of standing guard in the front. And as the lightning flashes and you hear the sound of the thunder, you have a flashback. In your flashback, you see yourself moving through some kind of rocky terrain, kind of like foothills, and it's nighttime and there's rain pouring and it's cold. The wind is blowing, and you see that you are marching alongside a column of people. Some of them are walking like on foot with, like you are. There are people on horseback kind of riding along on either side of the column, and you see like a carriage up ahead, and there are torches on the back, lanterns on the back of the carriage, and that's like the only light that you see as you're marching with this column of other people.
And do I recognize the carriage or any symbols or any people around me?
You don't. It's like as fast as the lightning flashes, illuminates where you are in this flashback. That's kind of the glimpse of what you saw. All right, in short order, Sarah manages to get a fire going. You guys are able to salvage scraps of fur and clumps of fur and bones, and that's kind of what you're using to feed the fire. You don't have enough to make it last for super long, so I'm assuming you're keeping it kind of low. But you are able to kind of huddle, and if you have your bedrolls, you can use those as blankets to stay warm.
I'm also wanting to clean up parts of this cave, like kind of scoop the the feces out with whatever I have available. Probably my shoes. Just scrape it out. I know how to do this because I was on a farm, so.
Okay.
I don't know, any flat piece of rock, or I don't have a sword. I don't want to use my sword for that, so.
Are you like tossing this out the front? Is that your idea?
Yeah, to the front, but also off to the side. Just off to this side and some off to this side.
All right, you can kind of
right up front.
Gradually work on that. Let's see, what are the rest of you doing? Claude, what are you doing?
Bane, I think we should try and go deeper into this cave and explore and see if we can find whatever beast.
Well, you were at the end of it. Like
Yeah,
you.
I was wondering if we've seen the whole thing yet. We've seen the whole thing already?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to the mouth of the cave and set a trap for the creature.
Yeah, that's probably best. And maybe bring some stuff that can burn to the front.
Okay. Leonard, what are you doing?
After trying to keep in light, because the only source of light is Bane, so I go to the pile, and you said that there were a few people within the first flashback. Any of them resembles someone from those people?
Nope.
Then just help guys to pick up the stuff. Not that I would be much help, but I pick what I can carry and
Okay.
So.
All right, Liber.
I'm gonna just confirm with everyone. If no one has any memory of how we got here, maybe we should look through our items and see if there's anything we don't recognize that might give us a clue.
Liber, as you say that, and you make this suggestion, and everybody who's gathered around the fire now at this point, you guys hear Liber make that suggestion. You kind of pull out your backpack, and everything that is in that backpack seems to indicate that you were going on an expedition. Your bedroll, you've got your rapier, your short bow, tinderbox, your rations, your water skin, your backpack, your quiver with arrows, all of that stuff. You have a healthy supply of coins, like a healthy supply of coins. You have a whole bunch of silver and copper. Do the rest of you check your stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Liber, in addition, you have a holy symbol. Is that a holy symbol of the one true God?
It is.
Okay. Liber, there's something else. Your holy symbol of the one true God looks like it's yours. Like you remember receiving this when you completed your studies as a priest in the church. Where is Liber from? Is he from the Western Kingdoms, the Eastern Kingdoms, or the Borderlands?
The Borderlands.
Okay. You're very proud of your holy symbol. It's well crafted. On the back of your holy symbol, you see a stamp, as if somebody stamped something into it. The symbol that you see on the back of your holy symbol is something that now jogs your memory. And that is, this has been stamped by the church, the Western Church. And that is a very large, well-resourced institution of the religion of the one true God. And you know that as you kind of look at this, you know that the Western Church's seat of power is in the kingdom of Avendia. And that kind of just jogs your memory a little bit.
Do we know about the coins they found?
I don't know. Leonard, did you share the coins that you found?
Yes, in this space.
Okay. So Leonard relays to you guys that amongst the refuse was a pouch of some silver coins. And those coins are minted with the minting of Avendia, the kingdom of Avendia. Does anyone else come from the Western Kingdoms? Is that a big fat no?
It's
Nope.
big fat no.
Fair enough. The minting on the coins shows the profile of the King of Avendia on one side, and on the other side it shows the profile of the Queen.
Is there a year?
Yes, there is. The year that is minted on it is the year 1119.
Is that around the current day?
Let's see. You're trying to think of like what year it is, and you're struggling. You're like, what year is it? Seems odd to you. Like you're just at a loss for what year it is. All right. What are the rest of you doing? So you see Liber like pull out his pack. He's looking at this holy symbol. Leonard shows you the coins that he found. Let's go around. We'll start with Claude this time.
Yeah. So as we approached and see him digging and uttering that question, we sit down by the fire and go through my pouches and backpack as well.
Okay.
Intrigued by the question.
You have everything that you feel like you would normally have when you are going on an adventure or an expedition. But you also find yourself incredibly well endowed with hundreds of silver coins. And you notice that these silver coins are also minted with the same minting as the Kingdom of Avendia, but that these coins are minted in the year 1120.
Do I recall that I wasn't supposed to have that much?
You can't remember why you have that much coin. It just you're like literally like, this is a lot of coin. Liber, as you are examining your own stuff and your coins are also minted with the Kingdom of Avendia, and they are minted in the year 1120.
Okay.
I would say that both of you, in looking at your coins, notice that these coins seem to be very pristine, as if they have not passed through a lot of exchanges. All right, let's go to Leonard. You are looking at the coins that are pretty old looking and worn and kind of dirty from being in that pile of refuse that were minted in 1119. Do you examine your own equipment?
If I come to front and everybody is looking through their equipment, I guess I'll look at, and there seems confused. I also check mine.
Okay, you're looking through your stuff. You also have an incredible amount of silver coins, and those coins are also minted with the Kingdom of Avendia in the year 1120. They are also pristine compared to the coins that you found that were minted in 1119. You have something else. As you're digging through your backpack, you find a small leather-bound journal.
I open it.
Okay. The first few pages seem to be like journal entries of your own writing, like you recognize your own writing. And as you're looking through the journal entries, the summary is that basically you've had some adventures, in an attempt to gain employment, to kind of show yourself that you are someone who is capable. You have some notes about your father's debts and the costs that it will take to purchase your family's way out of being indebted. You have some notes with some crudely drawn sketches for areas along the river where you've searched for your father's boat.
Yeah.
You have some pages that kind of refer to almost like your own journal, where you're questioning your own faith, with regard to how the church has many injustices and hypocrisies. And then there's some notes that you have about your brother and kind of your rivalry with him. The last page that has any writing on it does not look like it is writing in your hand. Or rather, it doesn't look like writing that you recognize. It looks like something that you copied down visually. And the script and the fonts don't look like a language that you understand. And as you're looking at this, you have another flashback to seeing that parchment on the table and seeing these words in a language that you don't know. And it's almost like as you're looking at your own journal that you tried to transcribe what you saw from memory.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in comprehensible language for me. So
No, you don't know. The last page is basically something that you tried to transcribe. It would be like if I gave you a glance at some Egyptian hieroglyphs and then you tried to transcribe them from memory.
Also, the amount of coin, does it equate to what I'm indebted? What we are in debt for, or?
No, but it is a sizable amount of coins. You feel like this many coins could be a significant down payment to reduce your debt. Sarah, the fire is going. You see everybody else kind of looking through their packs and examining what they have. What do you do?
Well, I've already looked through my pack, but I'll look through it again.
Okay.
Check to make sure that the pouch has 100 copper pieces on it. I wear that on the outside, so if it gets stolen, no big deal. Stuff like that.
Yeah, the more surprising thing, the copper looks like, you're looking through the copper, you have an incredible amount of coins.
Even more than on my sheet?
No, you have what you have on your sheet, but what I'm saying is that is a whole lot of money that you don't remember why you have that much money. The copper looks like a mixture of different coins, like different dates, different coins from different kingdoms. The silver is all in pristine condition, and it is all minted with the Kingdom of Avendia in the year 1120.
Do I remember what year I was born?
You do remember what year you were born.
And that was?
Well, how old is your character? I have to do the math.
24.
All right, you were 24. So you were born in the year 1096.
Okay, well that scans good. Anything else?
No. Bivoj.
I'm looking through my stuff. I know that I don't have too much money. Most of my finances is converted to jewels. But I'm just glancing at them and I'm checking my other stuff, like my backpack.
You have everything that you would need for any kind of adventure. You do notice that you have a lot of gems. and you begin to wonder, because you're struggling to remember why you have this wealth. Like, what is it that brought this ability to have all these gems? And you start to think back to, you know, the very humble, provincial, rural area that you grew up in the Three Rivers region, and you know your family's struggles with being able to just survive and with life, and you remember when you made the decision to leave the Three Rivers area and head down to the big port city of Southport. And you remember that you were determined to, you know, prove yourself and to earn, you know, your keep and earn the respect of your family, who always kind of thought that maybe you were sort of simple. But then after Southport, it kind of becomes hazy. You're not sure why you have all of this wealth.
I say to all that are gathered there, like, my family was generally very poor, and why would I have so much valuable stuff? What about you guys? I don't know about those coins. I don't know the people that are there. I can't read, so I prefer to exchange gems. They are more tangible for me.
Yeah,
But
I think I've got more than I thought I had.
yeah, that's what I'm talking, you know? Where did it come from?
Bill, does
Yes.
this Offendia coins trigger any memories or relation to that cathedral I remember from the flashback?
No, because I rolled for that earlier. I would say it doesn't trigger any additional memories, but you could logically begin to wonder if there's a connection.
Yeah, that's what I...
Because you certainly know that there is no cathedral of that ornate caliber or size anywhere in Lee County. Maybe not even in the Borderlands. And it seemed to be very just regal, very majestic. So something that could be in the Western Kingdoms or the Eastern Kingdoms. Has Claude traveled outside of the Borderlands? Has he ever been to the Western or Eastern Kingdoms?
Probably would have. Haven't been on the road for a couple of years now.
Okay, I'm going to say that the style of the cathedral seemed to be more like Western Kingdom style, like the style of the Western Church.
Okay.
Okay. As players, to give you an example, and this right now, Claude's the only one that has had that specific memory. As an example, the Western Church in the Lands of Doreguteon would be more akin to like the Roman Catholic style, whereas the Eastern Church would be more like the Orthodox Christian style. In terms of architecture and decoration and kind of style. Bane, you, I'm assuming, do the same thing as the others and kind of start looking through your stuff and your inventorying things, your trusty battle axe, your longbow, your shield, all your weapons and supplies, anything that you would normally have on an adventure. But when you go to open up your backpack, you find a couple strange things. Number one, you find a complete set of winter clothing, like lined with fur, winter clothing. You don't remember buying this, and you don't remember why you would have it. but you find such things. You also find 2 small pouches in the backpack. One of them has garlic. You smell it. The other one has these herbs. You don't recognize what the herbs are, but you have this pouch of garlic and this pouch of other herbs.
Did I notice that everyone's coin was from the same print?
Yes, you yourself have a pouch with a drawstring, and it's heavy. You open it up, an immense amount of silver coins. You pull the coins out. They're all pristine. They're all stamped with the Kingdom of Avendia in the year 1120.
And also, did I notice when Liber was looking at his holy symbol?
Sure. I don't think Liber, you weren't trying to hide it, right?
No.
Okay.
So I say to the group, it looks like someone paid us to do a job. We've all been paid with the same printed coin. Liber, I suggest you don't put so much faith in such trinkets. It would only bring you harm.
But, the thing is I wouldn't do a job. I wouldn't really have this much money on me. And if I knew I was going to be coming to a place like this, I would have spent that on the best winter clothing I could get. I mean, I'm used to having money because, if you don't know, my family owns the Marjit trading company. Okay. And, so I come from a certain amount of wealth, so I'm used to having money. But when I'm preparing for an adventure, I make sure I'm prepared. I mean, I don't even have winter clothing in here. I would have done that if I would have known I was coming up here. I don't even have rations. I don't think I even had a chance to go out and spend it.
Well,
so I'm confused.
I might have second theory. Is there any possibility that any of you would be hired to rob mint house or something, or bank?
That's not the kind of thing that I would normally do. I look at Bane and say, I would love to talk to you one day about our religion. Maybe we can get to a more comfortable setting. But I did have a flashback, and I share my flashback and say, has anyone else remembered anything else?
Just that it's dangerous to travel in the mountains.
I've been paid to do a great many things. Stealing is just among them.
I also discern that the year on the coins is the year that we're in, based on what I remember as my birth date. I am 24 years old. I was born in 1096. So this is definitely 1120 is definitely this year. So,
or so might you. So you might think that you are 24. Maybe you're older now.
Or it's at least.
I'm going to sit up very straight, and I'm going to look at you with these eyes of a woman who's not happy.
Don't worry, I like younger women, but
well, it could be at least 1120. Could be later.
I pull out again the 1119 coin, which we found on the body. How much value does it show?
It's very weathered. It's very, very weathered and worn.
Do you think like this damage is 1 year apart? And I pointed to group.
Yeah, let me see that.
As you look at the batch of coins that he found in that refuse pile, at the bottom of the refuse pile, these coins look like they had seen a lot of circulation. They're very worn. And not to mention, just dusty and dirty from having been at the bottom of a refuse pile.
I don't know the history of these coins, but if they were circulated a lot, if they were in general circulations, yeah, they'd be a lot more beat up. Obviously, these coins were newly minted and hadn't been in circulation, the ones we have right now. The ones in my pouch, which I keep on the outside, so if they get stolen, it's no big deal. Those are a mix. And you can see, and I pull out one from a year ago, and I said, see how roughed up this is?
To be clear, all of your copper that I said you have, like that is not all minted in 1120. There's a variety of but most of them, like the newest copper that you have is from like 1115.
Yeah. I mean,
they're worn.
Yeah.
You find the oldest copper piece that you have, and it's from 1105, and it looks about as worn as the coins that he found that were minted in 1119.
Oh,
it depends on how often they've been traded and where they were circulated.
Or the reform might have its own effects on them. I agree.
Whether
we've been unconscious for a very long time.
In any case, maybe happy birthday to all of us is in order.
Yeah, I was born in the winter. This certainly feels like winter, but it's just I don't know.
Who would hire us and then drop us here, and who has power to basically wipe our memories? Because by the sound of it, nobody knows anything about how we got here, what we're doing here. So why would anyone, what sick mind would do that?
I don't want to sound heretical, but what if they had some of those magic people? I've heard many stories. They may be very powerful.
Yeah. I think I was just waiting for instructions on my job, and I hadn't even had time to shop, so I don't know. I take jobs that look good, mostly guarding caravans, but every once in a while I'll take an adventure, this must have been one of those times.
Yeah, guarding caravans seem nice, but I don't like fetch quests. Well,
fetch quests?
Killing bad people is much better.
There's always the hill people to kill. They're always raiding caravans,
When I'm hired, it usually means something needs to die.
Mm.
Yeah, you're my kind of guy in that case.
Well, I usually go out and take jobs that people in need would have, relieve tension, sort things out. I normally wouldn't do a snatch and grab or anything like that. And above that, usually when I get paid or paid up front, I send most of it back home.
Mm.
So why would I still have this many coins?
As you guys kind of discussing these things and sharing a little bit more of your theories, your insights, the rain continues to come down in sheets outside. The storm overhead is intense.
By the way, is anyone checking still outside, looking outside for stuff if that beast is returning?
You have about 10 feet of visibility outside the mouth of the cave. That's how thick the rain is coming down, and it's dark.
Let's boil some water, keep ourselves warm. Does anyone have a...
We have dried meat, we can make something like broth or something.
Yeah. I'll find some bigger rocks so we can lift it above the fire. And mind bringing a cook pot over here? Let's boil some water, keep ourselves warm.
Okay.
Well, is there a rocky edge on the cliff mouth top that I can attach rope to and create a trap at the front entrance?
If you have a hook, yes.
Claude, let me use your grappling hook.
Sure.
I I take the grappling hook, grapple it up top, set up a snare trap. So like if something steps in it, it tightens up around them and flings like a basic animal trap.
Yeah, make sure it's really big because this critter is
huge,
very large.
Based on, I'll do it based on the footprints, and then I'll take some of the leftover fur and debris and spread it over the top of it.
Leonard Coy, you see this. You see Bane trying to put together this this kind of alarm/trap, and you feel like he's going about it in a way that may not be successful. Would you like to assist him with your high levels of tinkering skills?
I would, if he lets me, because like.
I welcome your help.
Okay.
Okay, so together you begin sorting this out, and a magnificent thing happens. Bane, as you're kind of holding the rope and suggesting this, Leonard's like, yes, and then he puts up a hand to you and he looks around, and you see him starting to rig up several rocks on one side, and he loops the rope through another side and then hooks it up to the other side, and within a couple minutes he has rigged up this ornate system where not only it would serve as a alarm if anything were to pass through this, but you also feel like it will pull down a bunch of rocks on either side.
Okay, if it's as heavy as you suggest, it should at least do something.
At the very least, it will snare whatever steps into the snare, and hook them such that it'll buy you guys some time.
You're a handy companion to have around. Stay by my side.
I will prefer to stay behind your back, but okay.
Leonard then, to put a finishing touch on it, he goes into his pouch, and from his specialist tools, he pulls out 2 small bells, and he hooks them on with these like little fish hooks onto the rope. You guys get some water boiling. Who has rations?
I do.
All of you who have rations, you can eat. Who doesn't have rations?
I don't.
All right. Does anyone want to share rations?
I'll share rations.
Okay. Go ahead and subtract whatever rations you consume or that you share. And collectively, you guys, you fill your tummies with some food. Claude, you take a portion of the dried meat that you have and you give that to Critter, who eagerly eats it up. And then you guys are kind of sitting around your very low fire. The fire is not providing a ton of warmth because you don't have a lot of fuel left. But those of you with bedrolls can maintain your warmth. And unless you intend to leave the cave, hours go by. Continuing outside.
I want to go in back. I pulled out a bone to kind of work with the fire, but I want to go back in the cave and pull out another bone that it looks like I can work it into arrowheads at a later time.
Okay. All right. Anybody else doing anything for several hours?
I will just pay for the rations to Liber. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be in anyone's debt. And I give him a silver coin, and I sit next to the entrance just to be on lookout.
Okay. All right.
I hold my battle axe in 2 hands and look at it longingly as if I've found a long-lost lover.
It seems to be your trusty battle axe.
I try to continue my notes with what I start instead of date. I write awakening and then everything I noticed today, including flashbacks.
You dig into your pack. You kind of find like a flat stone, and you set your inkwell down and your quill and kind of begin sort of jotting down a little journal entry about what happened today.
It will not be like nicely written, but it will be at least written.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep at the ready and have my and pray at the same time as I keep my bow ready and keep watch.
Okay.
I'm going back into the cave and scavenge for more flammable material. Maybe even scrape up some dried up feces. Thinking that those might burn as well.
They don't burn as well as you'd hoped, but they'll burn. The smell is not pleasant from any of the things that you're burning, because you're burning like bones and fur and hair and poo. So, but
it's already smelly.
Yeah, but it'll work. You guys are kind of collectively able to keep the fire just going. Night comes. The storm is still going outside. You guys feel pretty tired. You've had a full day.
Well, I'm gonna. Liber, you're a priest, right?
Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, I have a practice of saying prayers at night. I've done it since I was a kid, so I'd be pleased if you can help me with that, and whatever.
Of course. I would love
to. I'll get with him. I'll say prayers.
I scoff at them and turn my back.
Okay. After prayers, you guys have eaten. It's nighttime. The storm is still raging. Occasionally, lightning will flash across the sky, briefly illuminating the flooded plateau as water is just saturated the rocky landscape.
Is any water coming in?
A little bit of seepage, but nothing where it's threatened your fire quite yet.
Okay, well, I'll just shore it up so that nothing comes in, or little less comes in, and our fire is good and we stay dry. I'm gonna walk around a little before lying down. Hey, we're gonna have a watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we're gonna stay the night here and sleep, we need to have either a 1 or 2 man, sorry lady, watch.
Okay. How are you going to do this? Who's on first watch, who's on second watch, and who's on third watch?
I think the people who have the biggest armor should be on first watch.
No, we should individualize the more capable fighters, so that only one fighter is awake at a time.
I'm pretty sure that the huge contraption which we made with Bane will alert us if anything tries to enter. What do you think?
You don't understand. I'm not sleeping in this leather, okay? So when I take it off, I'm asleep. Yeah. So I'll take first watch.
Okay. Who else is going to be? So 2 people. Who else? Liber and
Liber.
Okay, so Liber and Sarah are on first watch. They are by the fire, which is about 10 feet in from the mouth of the cave. At the mouth of the cave is where Leonard and Bane's contraption trap is. Mm-hmm. Where are the rest of you sleeping? Are you going into the cave, like into the cavern?
No, probably staying close to the fire.
Okay, well, it's only 8 feet wide, so you have 2 people on guard next to the fire. You can have maybe 2 other people sort of close to the fire.
Is it warmer inside of the cave in the back?
It's warmer because the wind isn't blowing past the front.
Yeah. So
I will dig up some charred remains of something. Whatever it is from the fire, let it cool, and just take it to the cave with me, and I will unroll my bedrolls there I will mark some protection symbols that my father taught me. Put to the mother nature and for the elements of water and wind. And I will go to sleep.
Okay. So Bivoj is going into the cavern to sleep. Claude, where are you sleeping? And Critter?
Closer to the fire. At least within illumination area.
Okay, so you're about 10 feet away further in. So you're kind of halfway between the fire and the cavern at the back.
Yeah.
Leonard, where are you sleeping?
I will try to go a little bit back into the cave.
Okay, kind of by where Claude and the dog are.
And put there my bedroll.
Okay, Bane, what about you?
Deeper into the cave, backed up against the wall of the cavern, with eyes fixed out and up. I don't know if we ever checked the ceiling to see how high it is.
Oh yeah, you could see it. It was about 12 feet high. So holding your torch up, you were able to see the entire interior cavern.
Yeah, I'll go in about 10 feet to the 10-foot mark or so.
Okay.
And, lean up against the cavern wall.
All right.
Before we settle down, is it possible to do just a cursory check of the walls, just make sure there's no hidden doors or anything that looks unusual?
Absolutely. This is a great opportunity for everyone to make a search roll, which in Lamentations of the Flame Princess is a D6. So if you are trained in search, say for example you're a specialist, then you would roll your appropriate level of search. If you're not, you want to roll a 1 out of a D6.
2.
I got 2.
1.
Nah. Totally failed.
Okay. You
I
guys...
got a 2 and I have 1 in my searching.
Okay. You guys search thoroughly upon Liber's suggestion, and you don't find any fissures, cracks, or kind of secret false walls in any of the cave structure or the cavern.
Yeah. And as Bane was holding up the torch, when we first came in, that flame wasn't flickering somewhere from a draft?
Nope. Good call. The flame and the smoke from the torch went out. All right, so those of you who are sleeping, you remove your armor, you get into your bedrolls, you get comfortable. And just to be clear, that would be Claude, Leonard, Bivoj, and Bane. Okay, so you guys are all kind of curled up. Liber and Sarah, you're on first watch. The night falls, the storm rages on outside. And about 2 hours into your first watch, you see that the seepage from outside is slowly creeping towards your fire.
Okay, I'll get up and take care of that as best I can. Move rocks around, scrape dirt.
Okay, you kind of build a little bit of a lip to keep it from dousing your fire. All right, that works. The rest of your watch goes uneventfully. You guys are pretty tired. You've stayed awake this whole time, so your watch is finished up. And who are you waking up?
I am waking up Bivoj.
Bivoj and Claude?
No, I'm just waking up Bivoj.
You wake up
Bivoj. I'll go and I'll tell him, look, I'm going to go wake someone up and come out here, and then you can wake someone up. And I'm not that kind to him. Kind of kick him.
Liber, or are you waking up?
I will wake up Bane.
Okay.
Why are you waking me up? I have third watch.
Bane goes back to sleep.
Okay, then I will wake.
You wake up Claude?
Sure, I go.
Okay. You go over, as you go to wake up Claude, Critter growls at you for a moment. And then Claude, you hear Critter growl, you wake up and you see Liber standing over you, letting you know that it's time for your watch.
All right. Anything happened so far?
No, just Just watch the seepage from the.
Not there.
Oh, sorry.
Just a little bit of seepage of water came in. Sarah fixed up some stones, but we didn't see anything eventful.
All right. Well, have a good sleep, and I'll go and get dressed. And
Okay.
May the God bless you.
head to the entrance.
Liber, you get comfortable. You doff your armor. Sarah, you as well. You guys get in your bedrolls. Claude, you and Bivoj kind of rouse. Am I assuming that you're putting on armor?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
getting, like I said, I'm getting back dressed up.
Yep.
And any weapons at the ready or any additional torches?
No, I'm just going to be sitting with my short sword in my lap, petting Critter.
Okay, Bivoj?
I have torches at hand if anything goes south.
Okay.
I also pull my whistle from underneath my armor, just to be sure to alarm anyone
Okay.
that's there. And I will ready my bow and arrows.
All right, very well. You guys are doing the mid shift, so you got a little bit of sleep, and the whole time that you're on your shift, it continues to rain. And about 2/3 of the way through your shift, about 2 hours into your shift, it stops lightning. You don't hear thunder. It continues to rain, but the rain seems to be letting up a little bit. The last hour of your shift, the rain continues at a light pace, but you haven't heard any thunder, at least not close, in a while. And your shift is completed. Who are you waking up, B-Boy?
I'm waking up Bane. That's
Okay.
my kind of guy.
Bane, B-Boy comes and
My
wakes you
turn
up.
already.
You feel very rested. Just despite briefly being awoken, you feel pretty good. You do have to pee, and you do need to put your armor on, probably in that order. Claude, you wake up Leonard.
Yep.
Okay. Leonard, you are awoken. You also have to pee, and you may want to put armor on.
Yeah, I'm probably go to the refuse pile in the back for really quick, and then I don my armor and prepare my crossbow and try to stare with my spyglass into the rain.
Okay.
Yeah, I apprise Leonard of the weather conditions having let up.
I'll say that it's probably like about 3 a.m, so it's dark still. You can't really see anything. It's the rain has lightened up quite a bit, but you don't have much light coming from your fire. But you don't see anything within the first 20 feet of the cave entrance.
And it was way too cloudy for stargazing.
Yes, and it's also still raining.
Yeah.
All right,
So no idea from the stars.
the second shift, you doff your armor, you get into your bedrolls, you go back to sleep, looking forward eagerly to your remaining 3 hours of sleep.
Just to be clear, before I go to sleep, I inform Bane that there are some torches I left near the fire, just in case, and I lend him my whistle.
Okay.
Just don't spit in it.
Okay.
Too much. And
Oh, God.
I go to sleep.
Okay. All right. The first 3 hours, actually, your entire shift. Bane and Leonard, you guys are standing watch. There's very little left to burn. Like, your fire is basically dying down. You have used up all the dried skin, clumps of fur, bones, anything else, clothing from those bodies. everything else basically you use up in the last 3 hours of your shift. However, on a good note, your shift goes uneventfully. And as your shift is wrapping up, the fire is basically down to just smoldering. And it's kind of cold, but the rain seems to now just be at a drizzle, just a very light drizzle. And as sunlight is starting to rise at dawn, you can see that, out of the cave, you can kind of see the plateau, and there's just puddles of water everywhere. Like it's flooded out.
Does anyone find it bizarre that nothing returned to this cave in the middle of a storm?
Yeah, I kind of expected that it would return. Also, there's fresh meal, and it might be like temporary, or
it may have found a temporary refuge and is probably on its way back now.
So all of you are waking up at this point. It's dawn. Everyone was successful in getting a long rest. You feel, despite sleeping in a stinky, rotten cave, the sleep that you got was much needed. You feel restored. Everybody puts their armor on, presumably.
Oh yeah.
We must have marched a long way before we got here, because this is more tired than I've been in a long time. Just saying.
Ooh, interesting. As you say that, Sarah, you have this strange flashback. You have a flashback where it's nighttime. You are marching through a terrain that's not super clear or detailed because it's nighttime. And you seem to be at the front of this march. There's somebody kind of by your side. You can't see their face or any details, but like on your peripheral vision, you see somebody marching next to you. But behind you, you hear the sound of horses and like a wagon creaking, and you hear the footsteps of many other people marching behind you. And there's lightning flashing in the sky for the briefest moment, showing you as you're passing through this sparse terrain. And that's your flashback.
Yeah. Okay. What's for breakfast?
You guys have rations. You have not eaten since the prior afternoon, so all of you are hungry.
I think we should ration our rations.
Yeah.
Try to go around in the puddle and try to look if there is something to eat to dig up or something.
Yuck.
Just a lot of murky, muddy dirt water.
Yeah. So no.
I'm assuming that you're dismantling your trap?
Yes.
Okay. You recover the rope and grappling hook, and you take the Belz back and dismantle the trap. Anything else before you guys emerge from the cave?
I will take my torches back, and I take my whistle from Bane.
Okay.
And as well, I pay for the rations to Liber or whoever gave it to me.
Okay. So all of you put your armor on, you gather all your supplies, you get back all your stuff. Anything else before you depart from the cave?
Yeah, I'm going to take a small rock that's still warm and put it in my pocket.
Okay.
I'm gonna urinate one more time all over the cave.
All right, you do.
I would recommend you guys take a small rock that's still warm. I mean, it might help.
I do.
Liber, you take some time to say your prayers, which is important because you know that the one true God has given you gifts to be able to do things that normal people can't do.
And I'll join them because I'm devout, so.
Is there any special requests as you're saying your prayers for your spells, your daily spells? Is there any special thoughts that you are thinking or prayers that you are making?
For guidance.
Time for our first roll under. So, Patrick, go ahead and roll a d20 and tell me what the result is. No modifiers.
5.
Well, in the world of roll unders, 5 is very good because that's significantly under the attribute that I was going to have you roll under. As you are completing your prayers, you're concentrating and calling upon the one true God for guidance. And as you're thinking about this, there's a passage within the book of the one true God that pops into your brain, like a piece of scripture that pops into your brain. And it calls for the followers of the one true God to be as shepherds to their fellow man. And that when they walk through the valley, they should not fear evil or darkness, for their faith will keep them strong. And this passage to you pops in, and the valley part and the shepherd part seems to kind of reverberate in your mind.
I say to the group, I feel very strongly that we should head down to the valley now. We shouldn't wait. Let's pack up and get moving.
What say you, group?
Oh, what did he say?
To go
Sorry,
down.
it's deep in the prayers.
We should. He was asking if we should leave this cave and make our way down, and I would say yes to that one.
Yeah.
I would
It's
agree.
always safer being out of the mountains.
Yeah, and this cave is barren for what we can do with it. And staying another night would just be cold and miserable.
Yeah, and maybe we can find some place warm.
Or at least find some wood or something which we can cut down and light on fire.
I would say
Yes.
we head over to that part with the slant and just get down that way.
Okay.
Yeah, if we could head to Southport, I can find us accommodations, no problem, because
We don't
our
even know
family
where
has
we
a
are.
warehouse down there.
Yeah, but we don't even know where we are currently, so we don't have no idea how far
We've
we are
got
from
it.
Southport.
Oh, we've got to go south because all the mountains are in the north. I mean, it says so on my map.
There are mountains even to the east and west of Southport.
Yeah, but south.
So
By the way,
as you guys come to this agreement, you emerge from the cave. The rain has stopped. It's still very wet on the plateau. And you see that the direction in which the sun seems to be rising, which you know to be the east, seems to be past the mountains. But for the first time since you awoke, you have a sense at least of what direction east is. You still don't know where you are. But the 45-degree slope that seems like an easier climb, that is to the north of the plateau.
Okay.
So you walk over to that end of the plateau. You see that, there's a lot of just dampness. You see water kind of running off at a trickle, like running off the plateau in that direction. And as you kind of stand looking over that, you see like that 45-degree climb down, really just a careful hike down, leads you down about 60 feet to a leveled off area. And beyond that, it looks like it opens up into a valley.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would like to take point and start heading down.
Okay. All right, you carefully start, with knees bent, you kind of crouch down, and start heading down. And you find yourselves going down very carefully, presumably no one's running. And you guys get down about 60 feet, and you are now kind of at a ledge that overlooks a bigger drop-off. And this drop off is a sheer drop off that's 100 feet down. You do see that this ledge that you have now descended to seems to go in both directions around the mountain, and it seems to be graded on a slow, maybe like a 3% grade going down. So you feel like you could go either east or west and eventually work your way down this mountain.
Well, I would suggest going west, seeing that's the coins we got from Avendia is in the west as well. I would say go west.
I'm heading west.
Your guess is as good as mine, and I say that in the means of one mountain, it does not matter whether we go east or west, but yeah, we should definitely go in that direction.
Yeah, we'd be safer on the lowlands, but let's try to get out of the hills as soon as possible.
Liber, what's your instinct? East or west?
I agree. I'm heading west.
Okay. All right. So you guys begin walking this kind of ledge to the west, and you walk for a half an hour, gradually kind of at an even pace kind of around this mountain. And it comes to a point where the ledge looks like it has eroded and it just dead ends. You feel like if you use some rope, you could climb down, and you see down below you as you kind of look over this dead end that there's a rock fall, and then there's another ledge that leads to like a gradual 45-degree angle hike down this mountain. Tying together a couple of ropes and securing them, you carefully descend down this climb, and eventually the last person down whips the rope up and frees the grappling hook, and you guys rejoin or unjoin your ropes. You have now descended probably 200 feet from your original plateau location. And you see now that the rest of the hike down this mountain is walkable. You don't anticipate needing to use ropes to climb down. And you can see a little clearly now, since the sun has come up. Still, you could tell that the sun's coming up in the east. You see more clearly now that there is a valley below. And you feel like in another hour or two of hiking, you would be at the base of the valley. And the valley looks a little more lush. There's a lot of grass and a lot of trees in this valley. It looks a lot more green.
Can anyone with the spy glasses spot anything down there?
I will check.
Okay. Let's do a roll under. Hey, look at that. The two people with spy glasses, you guys pull out your spy glasses. You kind of look down, and immediately below you in this kind of forested valley, you don't really see anything. But you do see that there's a stream that kind of runs through this valley. And it looks like it's a stream that's being fed by the water runoff from the adjacent mountains. But you don't see anything within like a quarter mile through your telescope, other than just lots of trees and bushes and grasses, and this stream seems to go east and west.
It seems to be a lot of firewood down there, and also a stream that may lead us out of those mountains. It's our best shot to go downstream.
Does this resemble anything on the map?
Well, don't ask me, I just have the map.
It resembles hundreds of things on the map.
Yeah, it's too small to really look. Yeah, the rivers on the map are much larger. It only shows the large rivers, so we really don't have a reference yet.
Those of you with the spy glasses, as you're kind of watching, it seems like the river is flowing from the west to the east. Sorry, stream, not river. This is small.
Okay, well, that doesn't tell us much either. So anyway, looks like it's downhill to the east.
Well, everything is better than those mountains. We have to head to the lowlands first, and then we can go wherever we want.
Following the stream will take us to a larger body of water and probably people.
Yeah.
You guys spend the next 2 hours hiking down what remains of this mountain, and you eventually end up in the valley floor. And as you are now in the valley, it is a little bit harder terrain. There are no paths. It doesn't look like this is habitated, like a habitat, or that there are any settlements anywhere. You don't see any signs of man-made things. It's just a very pristine kind of forest. But you eventually make it across the valley floor to the stream. And indeed, the stream seems to be going from the west to the east. The sun is up in the sky now. It's late morning. You know which direction it came from, so you have a sense of your directions. So as you're kind of standing at this stream, trying to decide if you're going to follow it upstream to the west or downstream to the east, we will conclude this session of the Lamenters. And we'll find out which direction the game goes in on the next episode. Thanks to everybody for watching and supporting. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Lamenters Season 2.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bilalen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.